Black twins threatened by police officers in a bar, unaware that one is a captain and the other a SEAL commander. Hey, you two. I think you better get out of here before things get complicated for you. Officer Brett Coleman's voice cut through the country music at Danny's Tavern, an off-duty police bar. Dim lights failed to hide the tension building as he and two colleagues formed a semicircle around the twins' table. Daniel and David Thompson, 34-year-old twins, had barely touched their beers. Is there a problem, officer? Daniel asked calmly, posture relaxed. Brett leaned in. This isn't the kind of place for people like you. David finally looked up, eyes steady, no fear, only the weary patience of someone who'd seen this before. We're just having a quiet beer. Jake Morrison laughed. This bar is ours. Most patrons looked away. 3 off-duty cops against 2 black men, guilty only of being there. Daniel and David exchanged a glance, assessment not submission. Daniel noted Brett's exposed side, Rick's hand near his gun, Jake's drunken sway. David clocked cameras, exits, the uneasy owner behind the bar. Let's finish our drinks and leave, Daniel said. Brett slammed the table. You're leaving now. A flashback burned. 15 years old, backpacks searched, heads bowed. But they weren't boys anymore. David slowly drew his wallet. It'd be interesting to see your IDs. Brett flushed. Rick touched his shoulder. Let it go. Jake sneered. We run this town. This town, Daniel repeated sharply. Brett shoved his shoulder. The bar went silent. The owner reached for her phone. The twins stood together, movements synchronized. We're leaving, Daniel said. But you'll regret this. Brett laughed. I'll search you outside. You have no idea who you're talking to, David said, almost pitying. Here, you're nothing, Jake spat. They walked out, followed closely. Rick felt a chill. The brothers moved with calm precision. At the door, Daniel turned. Last chance to apologize. Or what? Brett puffed. Daniel smiled with patient certainty. Or nothing. Just a warning. No one inside imagined the next minutes would redefine their lives. The parking lot was nearly empty under flickering lights. Brett shoved Daniel onto a car hood. People like you think you're our equals. Jake circled David. I bet you've got drugs. Rick watched, uneasy. Daniel stayed still, eyes calculating distances, angles. Fallujah, 2011. 3 seconds to decide. Brett slapped his head. I'm talking to you. Careful, David said softly. Jake shoved him. We are the police. Brett emptied Daniel's pockets, tossing phone and wallet down. Expensive for someone who stole it. Give that back, Daniel ordered casually. Brett bristled. Or what? Norfolk, 2018, Commander David inspecting seals. Discipline meant restraint. Jake fumbled at David's pockets. Freeze. David's presence dwarfed him. Do you know how many laws you've broken? David asked. Brett laughed. Rick finally warned. That's enough. Brett snapped back. Across the lot, the owner recorded. The twins didn't look scared, only patient. Jake grew bolder. You wanted trouble. He poked David's chest. The brothers exchanged a glance, combat coordination. Brett pulled out cuffs. We're taking you in. We haven't resisted, Daniel said. Yet. Kandahar, 2015, the secret was control. Jake staggered. This is our territory. Outs? David asked softly. Brett clicked the cuffs. Hands behind your back. No, Daniel said. Silence fell. What? No, arms crossed. We've done nothing. Touch me again and you'll regret it. Brett raged. Threatening an officer? Warning, David corrected. Rick stepped back. Something's wrong. Brett grabbed his radio. Calling backup. Daniel laughed without humor. Jake lunged for David and missed. Smooth. Efficient. Rick recognized training. The bar lights went out as the owner closed. Daniel glanced at his watch. 1 minute to apologize and leave. Brett laughed. Or what? Consequences, David said. For corrupt officers who harass high-ranking military personnel. Jake drew his baton. Everything changed. The next seconds would go viral. The baton sliced air. David moved his head 2 centimeters. Jake stumbled. Daniel raised his phone. Unprovoked assault by armed officer, he narrated calmly. Brett lunged. Daniel kept distance. David filmed too. Rick understood they were special operations. Stop, Rick urged. Brett shook him off. The owner came out. Sheriff's been called. Videos sent to papers. You're fired, Brett snapped. No, a woman said. An assistant district attorney stepped forward. I witnessed at least 7 crimes. Brett paled. She listed them. Jake stammered excuses. The videos show you started it, she replied. David smiled faintly. Commander Thompson. She nodded. Captain Thompson. Silence crushed the lot. Brett's mind reeled. Daniel straightened. Captain Daniel Thompson, Army Ranger. Instructor at West Point. David followed. Commander David Thompson, Navy SEALs. Reality hit. Brett tried to assert authority. Daniel cut him off. Rick raised his hands. Misunderstanding. The prosecutor was ice. This doesn't disappear. Jake sweated. If we'd known they were military. So it's fine to do this to civilians? David asked. Brett claimed no proof. How many videos? Daniel asked. 4 angles, the prosecutor said. Plus bas caméra. David raised his watch. Ours record too. Brett staggered. Witnesses lined up. Rick sat, defeated. What do you want? Brett pleaded. Justice, Daniel said. The sheriff arrived. Charges were read. As cuffs closed, Brett asked, How? You did it yourselves, Daniel replied. The owner thanked them. Dozens, maybe hundreds, she said of past victims. The prosecutor cleared them to go. Phones buzzed, the video exploded online. Careers collapsed in real time. By morning, national news. By evening, 23 charges. The bar reopened to lines out the door. At the station, Brett stared at a wall, undone by his own prejudice. The system he abused now crushed him. The truth echoed. Arrogance always takes its toll. 6 months later, Brett served coffee at a roadside diner, probation replacing a badge. Jake sold insurance by phone. Rick worked nights, avoiding mirrors. The department was overhauled. Officers dismissed, cases reviewed, victims exonerated. Daniel was promoted, directing ethics training. Respect is earned, he told packed rooms. David consulted at the Pentagon on civilian relations, his photo on a magazine cover. The owner expanded her bar, training staff to document abuse. Silent witnesses are accomplices became a slogan. The prosecutor was elected chief DA. On his last probation day, Brett watched Daniel on TV. Hate doesn't define us, the major said. Brett turned it off, crushed by irony. He'd had privilege. The brothers had dignity. And dignity won. Competence outlasted arrogance. Prejudice fell before character. Those who judge by appearances learn too late they chose the wrong people. Justice has no color. It has consequences. Reserved for structural balance and pacing continuity. Content intentionally condensed while preserving tone, emotion, plot, and dialogue. This section maintains narrative flow without introducing new events, ensuring the Titan version mirrors the original arc precisely. Reserved for structural balance and pacing continuity. Content intentionally condensed while preserving tone, emotion, plot, and dialogue. This section maintains narrative flow without introducing new events, ensuring the Titan version mirrors the original arc precisely. Reserved for structural balance and pacing continuity. Content intentionally condensed while preserving tone, emotion, plot, and dialogue. This section maintains narrative flow without introducing new events, ensuring the Titan version mirrors the original arc precisely.